Live from the planet Lovetron. Gang, gang. Thomas Gang Podcast, episode 35. Frank Thomas. How you doing this evening, dear?
I'm doing good. Ready to get this show started.
Good. Okay. We got, we got some guests. We're going to announce them in a second.
Another couple joining us. I'm so
Another
excited.
married couple. And of course, before we get started, I'll go by the name
DJ Realm Life.
Just in case you missed it, you ain't hear me say it again. My name is
DJ Realm Life.
And here, my companion, my life partner, my buddy, my dog, my homie, the one and only.
You know my name. It's just Tiffany. You know my name. It's just Tiffany. Y'all, these are buttons he's pushing. I haven't said anything yet. I haven't said nothing.
And the couple that we have here today, they're a married couple. And y'all go ahead and state your name.
Got Marquita.
You got your boy Tino.
All right.
Marquino, Tito.
Marquita.
How y'all doing this evening?
Good.
All right.
Good. Everybody out there listening, of course, you know what it is. Sign up for YouTube. It's your first time. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. Once everything is posted, you will get a notification. Also, you can check us out on Apple, Anchor, Spotify, and other listening platforms as well. And before we get started really quickly, just want to give a little quick recap of what happened last week. If you missed it, episode 34, get the F out. We talked about the battle between Kid and Play. If you missed it, check it out because we did post a clip of last week's podcast, and Kid from Kid and Play himself did respond back, which was very surprising. He did respond back. Give him a shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Kid.
And he made it clear that he won the battle between him and Play. I still say Play won.
You the only one that said Play won. What y'all think? Marquita, you saw that movie? Tino, y'all saw it?
Which movie?
House Party.
Oh yeah, I've seen. I like the first one. After that, I really like the first one was my favorite one.
Mine too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely was the best one. But he made it clear that he did win, and he actually he liked the post, and he actually followed us. So again, shout out to Kid. Hopefully we hear from Play. And also, before we get started, I want to send a rest in peace out to actress Natalie. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. Natalie DeSelli. I hope I'm saying her name right. You may know her from the actress from Babs with Halle Berry, also with the TV show Eve with the rapper Eve. Set It Off, Family Matters, How to Be a Player. She passed away the other day, on Monday to be exact, at the age of 53 to colon cancer. So we're going to send our prayers and condolences to her family, rest in paradise, and, let our black people know that, get checked. That's very important, you know what I'm saying? The colon is a very serious thing, so we urge all our black folks, men and women, to get that checked out. Rest in peace to her. So.
All right. Let's just get into it.
All right. What we want to get started with, First Lady? What we doing?
All right. So I want to bring up the conversation I posted on Instagram. What does it mean to be marriage material?
And we're gonna ask our guests, and we're gonna ask the queen.
We're gonna put y'all on the spot first.
We're gonna ask the queen. We're gonna ask the queen first.
Or y'all want me to share the responses, because some people actually responded to it on
Yeah. Let me hear it.
They had some good stuff. I'm not gonna say no names and who said what.
No, we ain't gonna say no names.
Somebody put it means no ratchetness.
Oh wow. I agree with that.
I mean, it just depends. Like, everybody got their level of ratchetness.
No ratchet.
It keeps the relationship interesting.
Get somebody locked up. That's what they'll do.
Right.
What else they said?
Okay. I like this answer. Somebody put it means to be faithful.
Okay, we could deal with that.
That's marriage
a good
material.
One. Absolutely.
Loyalty.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Right?
Good stuff.
And to be forgiving. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Oh, that's definitely
a big one.
That's
a hard one too.
Those are good ones.
so
So Queen, we gonna ask you first. What is marriage material?
honestly, I think for one, forgiving. You got to be forgiving.
Absolutely.
you got to know how to communicate, because for us, honestly, we having communication issues now. Because I feel like communication, a lot of people, when they communicate ready to respond rather than taking in what the other person is saying and responding back and being like, you know what, I heard you say this, so this is what we can do to fix it. Rather than it being like a battle of, okay, no, you right, okay, no, I'm wrong, or, you know. And I think you have to be, I don't know what's the word for, but willing to change things up. Like, I may have met you one way, you know, and you got to learn how to be different.
Oh, yeah. That's called growth. Yes.
In every aspect. Like, you know, change it up, not just be the same person you were when I met you, which same person when I met you could be different things, like, you know, but that's what I think.
People gonna change. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like people change along the way anyway, hopefully. For the good. For the good.
Queen, I gotta play devil's advocate here.
Now look at him.
Hold on now. And then we're
Tino, jump in now.
We're gonna give Tino a chance to respond. Now, what if one would say that, hey, you knew how this person was when you married him? So
that for
okay, so go ahead. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead. Just not underdog, because no lie, that's his favorite line to me. But babe, when I first met you, you knew I wasn't sensitive. You knew this is how I was when you met me. So I'm gonna let him answer.
So I think, just to cover it all up, I mean, I'm not going to go into details or anything like that. It's just one word that kind of clicks to me. I would say it's called growth. Yeah. If the person that you are with is making you grow as a person, that's considered marriage material. We all go through our stages, as in a baby, a child, a teen adult, an adult. But then when you get to your adult stage, you have your, how can I say, your adults that are living the life, that are just exploring. But then when you encounter somebody, they actually settle you down to where you're actually building a foundation.
That's what it's about.
So the growth comes with that, because as you evolve, you finally meet this one person that's making you do things different, making you want to like call her, text her, be with her, do things with her. So not only you're building a foundation, now you're actually building a home.
Right. That's actually good. I think what people need to understand is, like, with marriage, there really is no book on it. There's no instructions. You kind of get an idea if you're blessed enough to have both of your parents present, but you really don't get it until you actually
in it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know that's what I'm saying? True. Like,
and every day you're gonna learn something new about that person. Like, just because you married on me, you know everything about me. I know everything about you.
Right.
You learn each other's, you know, their reactions. You learn their, you know, what makes them tick, what makes them not tick, and you just gotta work with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is marriage material to you? Let me ask you. Ask my wife here.
Definitely all those things. I think to go back to another question we had on a previous podcast, I think a lot of people have one big misconception in marriage is that people do not argue, or they're not going to be disappointed. You know, you're not going to be disappointed in your spouse. There's going to come a time you're going to be disappointed, but it's about how you get over those disappointments, how you move past those disappointments. So I think marriage material will be someone who's understanding. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be understanding. You have to be compromising. That's the big one.
Yeah, the big C word.
That.
Now let me piggyback off of that, and let me ask you a question.
Talk to him.
Now, what is like okay? So the question is, like, what is marriage material, right?
Right.
Now, do you experience a marriage material prior to the ring or after the ring?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's a whole nother.
No, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
No, because honestly, it is, because so as you in a relationship, correct me if I'm wrong, you have limits. You're limited to certain things that you want to do. But then when you actually propose and you are what I really want in the rest of my life, does the difference of a ring make the marriage stronger, or does it make you question what you thought your marriage material is?
Let me ask you real quick. Explain when you say things are limited before you buy the ring? What do you mean by that?
So hesitation, rejection. You might think she's the woman of your life, and everything rolls out so perfect that you're like, this is the one. Let me propose. But when you get on your knees, it's like, okay,
the real person show up.
Yeah, like, do I see the real reaction? Like, okay, me coming home at 2 in the morning from the club with my homeboys, am I going to get the same reaction that I got prior to me giving you the ring, or is it going to change after the ring?
I think the real question is, are the expectations going to change after the ring? Because you should be the same person. Like, before you get married, you should be the same person. Like, you have to naturally be a good woman. You have to naturally be a good man. You have to show them reasons why you want them to marry you or propose or whatever. Now, after you get the ring, I think there should be expectations, because you can't do the same thing you did before.
Yeah, like if you are someone, not to say you can't have fun, you can have your fun. But I think once you get married, you can't just go
live
out.
a single life.
Yeah, you can't have a single life mentality. You can't go out and be out 2-3 in the morning and don't call your spouse back thinking it's okay, not let them know where you are, how you doing. Like those expectations don't change.
But if you were doing that before, what makes it different now?
You're married.
All right.
That's the thing. Like
that goes back to what he said. When I met you,
how I was.
You knew this is what the lifestyle was.
I lived.
One of my girlfriends. Oh my God, we was just having this conversation, and she brought something similar. She brought up that point, not that example in particular, but she was telling me, even though her boyfriend at the time was doing XYZ, I don't really want to say what it is. Once they got married, she was like, you shouldn't be doing those things. And I was like, well, those are conversations you should have had with him before marriage.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. See those behaviors, like, that's something that should stop when you get married.
Right.
Like if we're talking about, okay, he chooses food while his mouth open, or he leaves his shoes by the door, or he throws his clothes when he come in the house, he just takes his clothes off. That how he's been for a long time, that's not going to change right away, and those are very minute. But we're talking about like doing other stuff that single people do. That has to stop when you get married. But
not completely. I don't think it should stop completely. I just feel like you got to be respectful of your home and your wife. So if your wife or your husband or whatever is out there doing something that you don't like, you have to take into consideration of their feelings once you're married.
Right. So that means if you're out, you really shouldn't be out 2-3 in the morning, and then you don't call your spouse and say, hey, I'm here, I'm there, or whatever. Like that kind of stuff, I feel like once even though you was doing it before you got married, you got to be considerate of your spouse, and that can't be something that you do all the time.
Right, you can't live that single life.
Yeah,
you can't live that single life. I mean, it was fun.
But you see how you kept mentioning after you're married,
right?
But shouldn't that happen before you get married?
Yeah,
though?
That's what I was saying. It definitely should be a conversation before marriage.
Absolutely.
That would be considered like the growth of making things change in your life, where it's just like, okay, cool, this woman or this gentleman that I've encountered has made me done things that I thought I'd never do. Like me, for example, I used to be the guy in the hood in Franklin, 2-3 o'clock in the morning with a bottle of Hennessy. 2-3 o'clock in the morning, drinking Hennessy, jamming to some music, and just hanging out. Where now, in the sense where I got married, is like the streets ain't even for me no more. Especially that I got a woman next to my side that makes me grow. It just comes to the perspective where it's like, okay, this is what makes me want to marry you. The other stuff, you can get that from anybody else, though, to be honest with you. You can get the cooking. You can get the coming home and getting a massage. You can actually get the come home and get rubbed down, and you go about your business 4 hours later. Right. You can get that.
Right.
But the thing about it is, though, is the growth of the feelings and the urge to actually want to do more and become better. And then I think that's when you evolve to an actual man.
Right.
Because you're not like an adult no more. You're a man. You're considered a man now because you know what I'm saying? Like those things have made you evolve and become better. And I think that's why a lot of things happen where, you know, the crazy thing I'm gonna say now might hit a nerve on certain people, but that's what causes another woman to want your man. Like, no woman wants a single man out here. They want somebody who they already.
We say that all the time.
A woman wants somebody that's either taken or wanted by other
because
women.
they want what she has.
Right.
That's the thing. They want what she has, but they don't know what it took for them to get to that point.
And they want to see why this man is married. And they're going to test you.
Oh, yeah. Temptation is real.
But what I like what you just said a few seconds ago is I think a lot of men, some men, feel like if they got to talk to their woman or report to them, they feel like they weak or they feel like they're being controlled, but it's in the sense of you having respect for your partner. Mm-hmm. Like that stuff that you should do, you can't do no more because you're gonna have your spouse worried about you.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you was in the streets, but now you with a woman that makes you think and wants to help you evolve. Right. You don't want to do the same things you did. I don't know how old you are, but in your younger years.
Oh, I'm 30, man. I ain't afraid to say it.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know how old you was.
Yeah, I just turned 30 not too long ago in October.
Okay. And that's around the age when you start to change and evolve as a man. Like the stuff that you did in your late teens and your 20s, once you meet that person, you're in your 30s now. That's when you're thinking bigger. You're thinking, okay, I can't do those little childish things that I used to do when I was younger. Like I have something to live for. I have people who really care and then people who I care about.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But even going back to the original question, I think even though, like he said, he used to be in the streets, he used to be hanging out, I would still consider you marriage material if you showed you were interested in marriage, and that's something that, because to me, the who you are and your character and your actions, that's marriage material, not necessarily the things that you are doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that do make sense. So like basically what's behind them closed doors, not the facade that you're putting out to the public.
Right. Yeah, because there's a lot of people, street dudes out there who have one, thing about them, but behind closed doors, they sweet as a teddy bear. You know what I'm saying? So
they may be in the streets trying to provide for their family.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
To each his own.
Yeah,
ain't no judgment.
No, not at all.
Shoot, to each his own. But that was a good one. So I really like that question. And I have another one. This one, I see a lot. I see a lot of people ask this, the difference between having standards and unrealistic expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
We're going to let the queen go first.
Let him go. What do people? You had that one question too on the.
I did. So the example, So the example that I put was, if someone says, "I want a man or woman with perfect height, perfect body, perfect age, and making six figures," is that them having standards or unrealistic expectations? And
before you answer, we're going the reason why this question came up. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this guy named Kevin Samuels. He's had a video that's popped up this week where he's basically talking to a young woman who is, I believe,
and he's a coach, a life coach.
Right.
He's rude.
It was on the radio stations and everything like that. I recall.
It's everywhere. Like I never heard of him until Monday, and he's talking to a 35-year-old woman who has a 13-year-old son, and he asked her what is she looking for in a man, and the first thing she says is six figures.
Of course.
That was her first response.
Her first answer.
Yeah, that was her first response. Yeah, and she made it. That made it very powerful. Where it was, he was kind of like bad mouthing the woman.
You think he was bad mouthing her?
So personally, in my personal perspective of getting because they broke down the summary.
Yeah, they
didn't really bring down the whole story. For my personal opinion, for one, the young lady was African American. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And Caucasian people actually don't have the privilege like some Hispanics do, or even the African Americans do. We don't have that privilege.
Not at all.
Like, for example, my wife is African American and I'm Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
I've never dated a Caucasian woman, never dated a Hispanic woman, even though I'm Hispanic.
Okay.
I ain't racist. But
racist against your own people.
So basically, I just say he was bad mouthing because a woman has the opportunity and she has the right to dream. If she wants a man with 6 figures, let her dream it. But that's just an expectation that she's expecting. But in reality, we all know that may not happen. And I'm saying that may not happen.
And
but you never know what kind of blessing she could have.
But that's what he was basically telling her though.
No,
he was letting
made
her
her feel so small. He called her average.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Not to say that I didn't see the whole thing, but my whole thing is with people, and even me, I had to realize, okay, you want a man with 6 figures, but do you make 6 figures?
Right.
She
want a man that's perfect, but she did, okay.
Yeah.
Some expectations we expect we can't bring to the table.
Right.
Like, you want a man that can buy you a Gucci bag. Can you buy your own Gucci bag? Like, you have to meet them. You got to meet them halfway. Like, you know, with being, I think you got to have realistic
goals. Right.
Right. Seriously.
I think he told the truth. I think the only thing that she messed up on, she didn't have any self-esteem. Like her self-esteem was low. You should never. You should. This is the thing. You should, as a woman, you should never let a man tell you you're not whatever you think you are. Like for him to say, don't say you're a 7. If she had the self-esteem, she'd be like, you can't tell me what to think.
Right. That's the thing.
That's the only thing.
He to the right woman. He should have talked to one that knows her worth and her confidence. Because when he even asked her, what do you bring to the table? She
had no really good answer.
She had no answer.
Yeah.
And then he said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate yourself? She said a 5 when I wake up, but a 6 when I put on makeup. Really?
But the first thing he said was, don't say a 7, because that's the average answer that everyone says. But if she had that self-confidence, she should have been like, you can't tell me how to feel what I am.
Right. And he's talking about
and that's what attracts those expectations that you have. Like if you want a 6-figure man, you got to come correct, not just making 6 figures. You got to come confident. You got to come, independent as well. Like my whole thing has always been with Tino, and I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it. I don't need you for nothing. I love you, but if you leave me, baby, I'm gonna be all right. But that's just how I was raised. Like I don't want nobody to feel like I need them. If that makes sense. Like I love you, Lord knows I don't want us to end, but I also don't want nobody to feel like I need them. If that makes sense. Like, if you leave, I'm going to cry. Lord knows I'm going to cry. I'm going to, go through it or whatever, but I'm going to be all right. And I feel like that's another thing with expectations too. A lot of women, unfortunately, are very dependent, and that could be a strain. That can be a turn off to some men. Some men like them actually not dependent or independent, or some men like women to depend on them. So I guess it all depends. Like I said, it boils down to having realistic goals and expectations and standards. But there's nothing wrong with having them. Just got to be
realistic.
Yeah. And I think that's what he was trying to get her to see too.
Yeah.
He just didn't say it right.
I just think he found her at her weakest point.
Yeah.
Let's just say this. Let me take it back. He did her so wrong that he found her weakness and he took advantage of it. Now, if it was a different kind of woman, for example, somebody who's confident, hold their head up high, stand 10 toes strong,
but
that man would have felt like crap after what he told her, because the response that she would have gave him would have made him been like, well, dang, okay, well, you know what? I apologize. I just figured by the way you responded to me, I figured that, but also the way she responded, you don't know what she's been through. She's a single mother, and who's to know what kind of experience she had with her ex-husband. And to be honest with you, more money, more problems, and money doesn't make you happy.
Right. But the thing is that his fault that she has low self-esteem?
No, he's saying he acted on her low self-esteem. Like he took advantage of it.
I don't think he took advantage of her. Like she had low self-esteem. He was just being honest and blunt.
I think
that's what I think.
If it was a different woman, he would have got a different response, and he would have had a different approach.
I don't think he would have backed down. I think they would have bumped heads.
Because let me tell you something. With any woman, I don't care how you look. If a man approach you and he makes 6 figures, how you look has nothing to do with if he wants to take you home or not. You can
I think it does.
You can get him. Now, it's up to you to keep him, but you can get him because a man, when they make six figures, their attitude might change. Their character changes.
And their taste changes as well.
Their taste don't change.
Yes, it does.
Let me tell you something.
Yes, it does.
No two men are the same.
No,
no
but
two men are the same.
all not alike.
So until you've been approached by one, experienced it, and seen it, you can't say what a six-figure man would do.
You can see it. You can see it. You can see it, though.
That's true, too.
You see it. Like, let's be real. That woman, this the only problem that I had, how he hung up the phone with her. That's the main problem that I had.
Just like
other than that, he was speaking real. Like, we got to be honest with ourselves. You can look on TV. You can look on Instagram. A guy that's making six figures or more is not going for a woman like that. That's the point that he was making. They looking like IG models, Nicki Minaj, because a lot. Let's be real, because a lot of these guys, look, a lot of these guys that had that money, they probably was getting bullied and punked, and now they came up. They never got girls in their life probably, and now they got money. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go get the girls that I wanted to talk to in high school. Right. I couldn't. They ain't pay me no attention. Now I can get them.
They can get them, but
go ahead.
I'm sorry for cutting you, but
go ahead.
Now, but now that you're saying he can go get that means he's using his money to buy that. So in reality, he's not really in love or finesse. He's actually just doing it because he has money, and then past experience, he was unable to get a Serena Williams. So guess what he's gonna do? I made six figures, baby. I pull up in a Ferrari. Guess what you finna do? Hey, you want to go out to dinner with me? What's she gonna say? No.
Right.
She want to say, yeah, let's go.
And that goes back to if you're a person, another six-figure woman, that ain't gonna impress her. So I already got that. What you got to come with something different.
The guy that approaches the woman because he got six figures and doesn't have good intentions, he's not good either. He's no different from the woman who said the first thing come out of her mouth that she wants six figures. They're the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if she met somebody, and if that guy that asked that question, if she says something different other than six figures, if she said, I want a guy that treats me like a queen. I want a God-fearing man. I want a man that's good with my with kids because I have a 13-year-old son.
Right.
The whole perception changes. But the first thing that come out of your mouth is because you have six figures, he has to have six figures.
But a lot of people ask for that. And to me, this going to rub some people the wrong way. I feel like if that's the first thing that you look for in a man, I feel like people who look for financial, I'm not going to say financial stability, but people who make six figures, I feel like they work so hard to get it because they never had it.
Oh, that's cool.
What I mean? They've never experienced it.
So you guys are so you know what this kind of reminds me of? The Tyler Perry movie with the girl that was cleaning the office.
I don't watch Tyler Perry, but I do. Go ahead, because I know good deeds.
Good deeds. There you go. So it kind of falls in that same perspective. She wasn't making six figures.
She was making janitor.
She was a janitor. She was cleaning up the toilet, cleaning up after this man, but she brought something that he hasn't had in so many years in the wife that he had, which was Gabrielle Union, which whatever the case may be. But if the man that makes six figures is living a life that he has, okay, cool, because he bought it. Now let's take away the six figures. Let's say in our life in reality, we don't make money. We just living off of, we got the food, we got everything.
Check the check, like most of us live. Check the check.
Yeah, like check the check. Would you consider yourself saying, okay, if you can't be like, oh, I want a man with six figures, what's your next step? Like, what's gonna attract you to a man?
But that's what he was trying to. That's what he was trying to tell her. Like, okay, the ratio of you meeting a guy with six figures is very small. What do you have to bring to the table?
And she couldn't even
answer it. So I can't fault him for that.
But the thing about it is, I hate that question. I hate if you're dating someone or you're trying to get to know someone and you ask them, what do you bring to the table? What's your worth? It's not something that I can tell you. It's something that you have to see in me. It's my actions.
But no one's going to ask you that question.
No, but I'm just saying, some people, they were like, oh, I'm this kind of woman. I cook, I clean. I'm a good woman. I'm a supportive woman. Okay, so if you're all those things, what's understood don't need to be explained.
You'll never have that conversation. That will come up by your, like you said, by your actions. You're not going to go on the first date and be like, okay, so what do you bring to the table? Right. That's not going to happen. No one does that.
No.
So let me ask you a question. Do you act so as a man yourself, bro? Let me ask you this: when you first had your first date with your wife at the moment, did you ask yourself, what can she bring to the table to you to make you a better man?
No.
As a person, did you question yourself?
That's a very good question, but at the first date, no. I was just like, this is the thing with us.
No. I wouldn't say ask the wife or the spouse.
Think that
himself. Like you go home. Like for example, like the dude Desi Banks, whatever. He does a lot of comedy skits where he just did one when he got the opportunity to go out with a date with the girl in high school, and shit. Like, oh, I got a friend, and they acting a donkey. But in reality, after that date or two, or maybe after 10 days, did you ask yourself, am I growing with this person? Or like, what is she bringing to the table that I haven't seen? Or is it something that she's bringing to the table that I haven't even tasted? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's going to take time. Like, you'll never know that by the first date or by even the first 10, like the 10th day. Like, that has to be time. Like, you have to continue to keep going out with that person, get to know the person. Like, people who say that you'll know when you marry somebody the first 6 months or a year or even 2 years, they're full of it. Like, it takes time to get to know somebody. You know what I'm saying? And then when you gradually know that person, you're like, okay, I see what this person brings to the table. I also see how this person can elevate me or push me to be better. You're not really looking for that in the first date or even the first couple of times. That's just you're trying to get to know each other.
Right.
Like it'd be crazy for you to even come out your mouth the first couple of dates, like trying to see what a person brings to the table. Like you're not realistically, you're not doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, when I met my wife, I was just trying to get to know her. That was it. And then with time gradually kept going, then you think about that, but yeah, not early on, nah.
Yeah, I think when you're dating, you kind of get to know you kind of get to know each other, what they like, what they don't like. And as far as like with me and him, like it took time because we were both in a bad place, kind of, I would say, right? We were. Everybody done been through their ups and downs or whatever. So we took things real slow.
I don't know if I could say I was in a bad place.
Not in a bad place, but
I was chilling. I wasn't looking for anything. I was
right. You wasn't, but not in a bad. We came from something bad. Is what I meant to say.
Yeah, that's true.
We came from something bad, and it took time for us to get to know each other. I mean, hell, I felt like our first date was like 3 months.
3 months, yeah. 3 months later, yeah. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I said I wasn't looking for nothing. My expectation wasn't high. I actually said, you know what? I'm gonna try something different this time. We didn't go out to 3 months later.
Yeah, instead of like a week later.
Yeah, like I didn't want to do the typical thing. I said, let me just take my time to get to know each other.
And let me tell you something. Instagram almost broke us up. I'm gonna tell you something. And it wasn't that it was other women or anything like that. It was just stuff that he was putting on there, and because we didn't go out 3 months later, like I'm like, okay, this guy is celibate. I'm not celibate. He's putting this stuff on Instagram, but he was joking, but I didn't know that. So I'm like, I asked him one day, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to tell him because I don't know. But those are conversations that you kind of have early on.
Right.
True.
And you said about go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
With us, it wasn't even okay, so it was like a speed thing. So I met him in March of 2017. I got pregnant in June. So we honestly didn't even get to we basically had we had to speed everything up. So we was getting to know each other throughout my pregnancy.
Wow.
We was getting to know each other that first year that Sky was born because, life happened. I don't know. I got pregnant.
Don't even act like that.
But I'm just saying. We didn't have the luxury of going through that because we were so busy in our hormones, whatever. And like you said earlier, Tiff, I think you said you still, even though we're married, we're still getting to know each other. Right. We find out new stuff, every day.
Every day.
That's not a bad thing. It's life. Everything.
Yeah, it is. So in a sense to where the topic is, that she wanted a man with six figures. As a gentleman myself at the time where I was standing that I met Marquita, I knew I kind of wanted more than what I experienced. The last relationship that I was in it for like man, like 4+ years. But it was like a learning obstacle for me. Like it was certain things that I'd be like, oh, I want a woman that does this. But then she doesn't, I'd be like, nah, that ain't for me. Then I was like, I want this. Then I was like, nah, that ain't for me neither.
Right.
But then in reality, at the end of that whole trial, I was just like, this is what I want from a woman, and this is what I'm going to get. And for some reason, my homeboy, in a sense, how it used to be is my homeboys come knocking, I'm getting dressed and we going now. So they came knocking, and we ended up at Rock Bar. And from then on there, it was just like I made eye contact with her, and then boom, it was like what I was looking for.
Like,
let me ask you.
The funny thing is, he's never dated outside of black girls, and I've never dated outside of black men. So for me, I was shocked. I'm like, Lord, what you doing? I don't even manage. What?
But sometimes you just gotta go with it.
Right. And I remember I was with my dad. That's what I'm saying, with my parents still. And I don't know what conversation came up, but my dad was making a joke about, I wish one of my kids would bring home a Spanish boy. And I'm like, oh, hell. We might have to slow this down. But surprisingly, he loves him, and you know, everything worked out. But I just feel like, to piggyback off of what he said, with expectations, going through certain things lets you know what you don't want.
Exactly.
Like, I don't want to do this, so now I know my next person, this is not what I want. Or you thought you wanted it, maybe you do want it, but the person who you were trying to get it from wasn't you know what I'm saying, wasn't giving it to you how you thought it was supposed to be.
And that's all that's all it is. When you look back at your relationships, your old relationships, you have to take something from it. What you learned and what you learned about yourself. You know what I mean? It's in timing. To me, I don't like when people put a time on when they should do things. You just gotta let it flow, and if it feels right to you, to hell with everybody else. You just got to go with how it feels to you and let that happen organically. Let that happen organically.
Because if you try to keep up with everybody else and social media and, you know, pleasing, you would be crazy. Because half of the people that you following over relationship goals, and you don't know what they go through. Like, a lot of people now recently getting abused. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, everybody.
You will not know. And let me tell you something. My husband always said, I don't know where he get this from. He probably saw it on social media, but he always says,
I can't come up with myself.
Nobody's related.
Right. Why the man can't be sipping on some cognac and be like, you know what?
He could have, because he do stuff like that.
Right here. Wow. You know what I'm saying?
He could have. But after he said it, I started seeing the memes and stuff. But anyway, he said,
what I said.
He always says this, and this is like the perfect quote. Nobody's relationship is my relationship goal.
Right.
You know, he said that years ago.
Just saying, blessings. You know what I'm saying? Lesson from God, you know?
Yeah.
Because people will fake it.
It's like this, man.
But baby, I don't.
Everybody's journey is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to go on the journey that you have to listen.
Right.
And look for the signs that God puts in front of you. You know what I'm saying? He gonna put them out there, even when you not asking for it. He gonna put it there, and you have to follow and listen to that journey that he's sending you on.
But you can miss your blessing though.
Right, if you don't listen.
Oh yeah.
Not even about listening. If you don't pay attention for the mind. So here's my thing. A lot of people, what happens in relationships, they're always focusing on the big things. They focus on, let's say, the lifestyle of, let's say, in the club or whatever. He popping bottles. He throwing money. Oh, I like that. Oh, he got on a gold chain. He got Cuban links. They're attached to that big object compared to the gentleman that's standing right next to them and being like, hey, listen, I want to take you out on a date. Oh, well, you ain't got this, so I ain't, or you ain't got the chains and you ain't got the money. I'm not finna talk to you, but that would have been your blessing.
Yeah, exactly.
And those people like that to be by themselves because they're just focused on material items.
They'll be by themselves invisible all day. Right. But then you see how you said nobody's relationship is your relationship. What's wrong with social media nowadays? Like social media, to be honest with you, me prior owning a business, it's great advertisement. I mean, social media is the number one moving billboard, you can have worldwide, and you don't have to pay for it.
No doubt.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. That's the best thing about it.
It takes you so far, but then it also portrays the reality of life, where you got women that are staying in Section 8 saying, "Oh, I want a man with 6 figures," but baby, you ain't even. You not even. Listen. You feel me? You're not even in that level. And you know when it comes down to the young lady that was on the radio. Yeah, she said she wants a man with 6 figures, but we don't know what she went through. We don't know what kind of headache she's been through the last 13 years having her child. Maybe she lost her job. Maybe she was dealing with somebody who had 6 figures.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, I think that's the point she was trying to get to. She just couldn't put it into words because she said she dated average guys. She dated guys who made less, and it didn't work out. She said they wanted to be she said they wanted more from her. They wanted her money. And she felt like their mindset is different. Like, and it's true. People who have money and people who don't have money, their mindset is different.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that the person who doesn't make money can't get to that.
Right.
You just got to be willing to work with that person. And you got to be able to understand that that person may have the potential to make 6 figures.
Yeah, the thing was, she just sounded like she was ready to change somebody. And if that person's not willing to change within himself, he's not going to change regardless of how much you make. You know what I mean?
You can't change anybody because somebody making 6 figures can treat you like crap. That's
what happens a lot because they got all the money. They feel like they get any woman they want.
Right. So it'll make you want to rethink your priorities.
Right.
You're not gonna want that man with 6 figures. You're gonna want that man that respects you.
Now, Tino, let me ask you, what made you pop the question? And 2-part question. Did you feel any pressure? And if you did, explain, because they don't understand. Explain, please.
Did I feel? What was the second one? Did I feel any pressure?
Did you feel any pressure when you had to propose?
All right. So to be very open with you, she set a standard where she says you got 3 years.
Woo!
Don't do that.
Pressure.
No. I wouldn't consider. I don't consider it pressure because it happened after we had Sky. Now, if we would have never had Sky in the oven, then I don't think it would have been that type of standard. It would have been like, oh, okay, we're just going with the flow. If this is meant to be, it's going to be meant to be. But in reality, it was meant to be. So once we had Sky, she was like, nigga, you got 3 years. After 3 years, if you don't pop this question, ain't no need to be together.
So do you consider that pressure, Tino, or do you consider that this is what she wants? She's letting you know what she wants. Now it's up to you to make a decision.
No, it wasn't pressure. It was my opportunity to close the chapter that I had open and start a new beginning as a grown man.
Oh, so that's something that you wanted. It was your choice.
There ain't no pressure. There ain't no pressure.
That ain't no pressure now because like I mentioned earlier, that's growth.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have nobody push, like, okay, for example, our mamas are always going to spoil us. I don't care if you the daughter or the son. If you did something wrong, they're going to be like, what Marquita did. Or if she goes to her mama, what Tino did. In a sense, because they don't see no fault in you.
Right.
But if there's another woman next to you holding you accountable for your growth, it has to be you as a man to accept that and move forward. Because I could have been like, well, good luck, because I ain't popping no question in 3 years. But then what kind of
that would have went bad.
What kind of growth? But what kind of growth did I do? I'm wasting my time. My time is. I don't make money off my time, but my time is valuable in this earth.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you never know what one could lead to other. So no, it wasn't no pressure. So at first I was like, man, bro, like 3 years. Yeah. But then I also asked the question. I was like, what does a paper with a stamp with another person's name as a what you call them?
You basically want to know what the ring going to change.
What's the ring gonna do? That doesn't do nothing. It doesn't change me from treating you like my queen. It doesn't change me from taking you out to dinner, loving you, caring you. It doesn't do nothing. It's just a piece of paper saying that you're married.
Now to cut him off, because this is.
Oh, I'm about to get.
Yeah, that was good. I like that.
I was waiting on you too.
I like that.
I'm about to ask you a question. Go ahead, Queen. What you gonna say?
One of those. Okay, so my expectation and my standard is based on I'm lucky and blessed to have been living in a 2-parent household for as long as I can remember. I'm 30. Well, I'll be 30 in February. I've only known my mom and my dad as a married.
Right.
Versus him, unfortunately, it wasn't like that in his household. And I'm going to use his brother, for example. He's been dating somebody and they've been together for like 7 or 8 years. Mm-hmm. But they don't have, she doesn't have a ring or anything like that. That's your expectation. You don't want a ring. But because I grew up around that, of course, that's what I'm going to do.
That's all you know. That's all you see.
Yeah.
Right. So I think for him, that's why it was more of a hesitant, like, what is like, I know what marriage is, but I'm not surrounded by that. Like, my brother is not married. My mom and my dad were not married. So and my friends are not married. So it's like, but for me, I'm not going to be a baby mama for 7 years.
Right.
I'm not, that was my expectation. Like,
nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
And there was nothing wrong with your expectations because you said you come from a 2-parent home. You had a kid on the way. So you didn't want to be a baby mama. So there's nothing wrong. Those are realistic and standard expectations because you want a strong family.
Right.
So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
And then to answer your first question that you told me, what made me pop the question was the blessing that we received of my daughter. When I even questioned myself at the time, I'm like, what man doesn't want to be there for their seed, no matter what me and the baby mama got going on? If we don't see eye to eye, that's cool. But me seeing Sky having the bond with her mother and having the bond with her 2 parents, I was like, you know what? I gotta make this official. I have to make it to where it's like, to death do us part, to old and gray, sicker or in wealth, we good. I had to, because it's, for one, you're the mother of my child. 2, if I don't do this, another man could come get you. You know what I'm saying? He could play stepdaddy. But it's going to be a hell of a journey for him because I'm going to make his life hell. But at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? Let me just make it, let's just make it official, because I can't see myself with another woman. I can't wake up with another woman next to my side knowing I got a whole daughter out there with her mother. And I'm not going to say, okay, my baby mama, which, don't get me wrong, sometimes
I hate it.
He hates that. He hates that terminology, baby mama, baby daddy.
I don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's gonna be considered, a baby mama, but you at least tried. I mean, if the work was there and you try so hard, like, hey, look, after 5 years or whatever, we can't get along and we just can't do it. If you separate and you guys are considered friends still, best friends, all gravy with me. But I just couldn't be in that category. I couldn't have a baby mama.
That's what's up.
I gotta have a wife.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
I think you said it best. You couldn't see yourself. That's how you know. It's a lot of talk as far as years and this and that and the third. I think people need to realize that the moment you know when you want to pop the questions and when you cannot see yourself without that person and you can't see that person with someone else. That's how you know.
That's what he said too. He was like, I don't want nobody like.
That's how you know when to pop the question. It's not years involved. It's not all this other stuff that they be talking about on TV.
It's just how it feels and how your relationship's going. And if it feels right at that moment for you.
Yeah.
But I can't answer that.
Yeah,
question.
no, you can't. Just stop. So,
but wait, no. So you asked him. So did you feel pressure to pop the question?
You already know. No, I didn't. I didn't feel no pressure.
What gave you confidence to ask that question? What put it like this?
What made him ask the question? What changed in your personal perspective to be like, this is what I really want?
Well, I'm gonna take it back. Like we said earlier, we both came from bad situations in the past. Mm-hmm. So these things were brought up. But I really, at the time, was not ready. You remember, I used to always be like, you used to mention it. Mm-hmm. I used to either curve it or I used to be like.
But no, and that's the thing. From the very beginning, when we used to date, when we dated, I think that was a question. Like, because he went through a bad situation, I said, well, would you be open to marriage again? He just flat out said yes with no hesitation.
I don't remember that, but hold on now. Let me finish. So I either curved it, or I used to always say we could do a love contract. Remember?
Oh yeah.
That was my answer.
That was his favorite.
Let's do a love contract.
Yes,
let's do a love contract. We ain't got to get married. That was my thing.
What is that?
So what was the guidelines of the love contract?
Listen,
it was hilarious.
We could just sign off that we don't have to get married. We ain't got to go to the courthouse, and we could just leave with what we came in with. I know it was a bunch of BS, but I was just gonna see who's gonna work. Of course it didn't. Right. But and still, marriage was not kind of the thought. But you would see things and be like, you know what, I could do it. You know what I'm saying? I could do it. And then when I mentioned it to you one time, I said no more love contract. She bust out crying. You remember that?
Well, was it a DR?
No, we wasn't nowhere near the DR yet. We was here, I just said it because at that moment I was like, you know what, no more love contracts, and you started crying.
Aww.
Still was not.
I might have been drunk. I don't remember.
But
that.
Still, no, you wasn't drunk. You wasn't drunk.
Remember that?
Still was like. Still.
Only time I remember because I was so shocked when you did it because it was always understood that's what we wanted, but I just didn't know when or when he was doing.
Yeah, she would mention things, but I was just like, I wasn't putting no time on it. I really didn't know when I was gonna do it. But then as time go on, and then you know, like I said on our anniversary, an engagement dinner, if you keep looking back in the past, you're gonna trip on the future. Mm-hmm. So like I just let that go and just took a leap of faith. You know what I'm saying? Like leave that behind, and then you had that feeling like you don't want to see her with somebody else, and you don't want to be with nobody else. So that's when you know when it's time.
Right.
But it wasn't like how it wasn't easy.
Contract thing was funny. I forgot about that.
I didn't forget about it. It was straight love contract. I was gonna ride that out as long as I could.
But you see how funny that sounds, right? Where out of the blue you told her no more love contract. So
out of nowhere.
In December 2019, it was Christmas time, and I was at the mall. And she was like, "Oh, babe, I want some Aldos, some Tory Burch, and some other things." She said she had one, and I can't recall. So I said, "All right, doing the typical me. I'm like, all right, let's go shopping." So I go to the mall. I got the Tory Burch. I don't got the Aldos. I'm ready. I'm at the other store now. I said, you know what? What am I doing?
I went got Aldos first.
Shut up.
I would got the Aldos. I would have got that Tory Burch stuff a lot. But go ahead.
Listen, so I don't know. Listen, like out the blue, in my mind, I was like, "Yo, what you doing?" Like I was talking to myself. Like it's like my spirit came out of me and said, "Hey, bro, like stop playing. Like, do what you got to do." Yeah. So I went and returned everything, and I ended up at Zales.
Ooh.
And I bought the ring. I didn't even ask permission from her father yet. I didn't ask her mother.
I ain't do that.
I didn't do none of that until I actually just had the ring in my possession. Where I got home and I was like, "Pops, Moms, can I have y'all blessing?" Mindful, she was in the bathroom, so her ears were like sound. She was listening to everything. She like, "What y'all talking about?" Her daddy was like, "Mind your business." And then I was like, "Can I have y'all blessing?" Mindful, I already had purchased the ring. So it was like, I'm going to do this regardless. So I had returned all her Christmas presents and I just went and bought the ring. And, it came down to me getting the blessing that night. I was like, man, I hope these folks say yeah, because
you don't already got the ring. Ain't no return.
I already got ain't no return. And they were happy. And I mean, Mom had the ring like 2 weeks, like the second week in December, I had purchased the ring.
And she never said anything?
Her mom?
Yeah, she never said anything?
Nah. Wow. I mean, it was the biggest secret ever. Like, even till there was like
somebody would have slipped out of my
family. That would have leaked out.
Yeah, so I was like, I put up all the presents and then I just bought the ring. And I mean, we didn't have no conversation about, oh, we need to get married soon, or there was no pressure. It was nothing involved of being pressured. It was just,
It was just the right time. That's how you do it. That's what's up.
Went with it.
And that's the best way to do it. No pressure.
So you proposed on Christmas?
Yeah.
You're crazy. You're crazy. Why would you do that?
But wait, he proposed on his birthday.
Oh yeah.
You're crazy.
I took him. I'm over here. Listen, I planned this huge birthday trip because he's 40. Well, he's 40 plus, but he was turning 40. So I'm like, I gotta do something big for him. So I planned this big birthday trip to the DR. I'm thinking, oh, you know what? I'm about to get points for this. This is a big trip. He can't top this. He can't top this. Man, we get there. And we're celebrating his birthday, and he gets down on one knee. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And he just started talking. I don't even remember the conversation, but I was just so surprised. I'm like, well, we supposed to be celebrating you. And I'm like, he gonna talk what I did.
He did that good, though, because you would have never expected it. Like, this is your birthday.
I didn't. And then he said he had the ring for months.
I had that for months, man.
Wow.
I had that for months. Like, and even when I had it, I'm like, damn, when am I going to get this ring? Like, I still didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hit it.
Now, you must have hit it good because I
hit it. How you went through TSA?
Yo, let me tell you about that. I'm glad you asked that question because this goes to part of pressure, proposing, and all this stuff. So, already came up with, okay, I'm going to bring it on this birthday trip. This is a good gesture, great gesture, actually. So, me and my homeboy talked about it. He told me what to do. We get to the airport. They stopped me. Well, first, she went first. No problem with her. I go after her. They stopped me. I'm like, damn. So I kind of slid through. She didn't even see me. She was doing whatever.
Because it is so funny when that happened, my bag had got stuck on the belt, so I couldn't even see what he was doing.
Man, I done turned.
My bag was stuck on the freaking belt.
I done turned all the way around so I could block what I was saying and block everything and say, "Hey, I got a ring in the bag. Please don't take it out." Just like that. Please don't take that ring. I got a ring in the bag. Come to find out, they wasn't even looking at the damn ring. It was lotion or something they wanted to take it.
You didn't have it in a Ziploc bag. I told you have to put that in a Ziploc bag.
So that
But that was a huge distraction because normally my nosy ass would like, what's the problem? What's wrong? Why y'all stopping him? But I couldn't because my bag was
nosy.
stuck.
I had to
and
block
I'm over
off.
Here calling him. I'm like, Drell, my bag is stuck on the belt.
I had to turn around and block off the view of the TSA agent so she couldn't see me and this agent talking. So
she would have been up there like, what's going on? What happened?
And they go mess around and take the damn ring out, and that would have been it.
Well, you would have just had it got on your knees right then and there.
Nah, I would have did it.
No, we had to catch that
flight. No. So while I had that ring, we was there for maybe 5 days, maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't know when I was gonna propose to her. So I said, "The hell with it. I'm doing it tonight."
The first night.
The first night. The hell with that. And
so not even the fourth. I thought you was going to hit me with the last night.
Hell no. It was killing me. It was killing me. I was like, we're going to do this tonight, damn it.
That's love.
Yeah, the hell with that.
I didn't know what he was doing. I don't even think I said yes right away. I was just looking like.
She was crying.
Marquita was the same way. Marquita, listen, so the way I proposed the week of that I was planning on proposing, I know, I think you know Gigi, right? Her other cousin.
I think she do.
So I had called Gigi at like 5 in the morning. I'm like, yo, she just left the house. I need to tell you something. I got a ring. She's like, oh, we're going to plan it. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. It was all planned out. Then a hiccup happened with one of the sisters. The sister was like, she felt some kind of way because I didn't put her involved. But I'm like, if I would have told you, you probably would have slipped up and told her.
That's why I told nobody knew. I told nobody.
Yeah, only her parents knew. So I was like, it is what it is.
I ain't tell nobody.
You told Tamaya. Remember you said you told Tamaya?
Yeah, I told her daughter, you know what I'm saying? I actually got her blessings from Tamaya. I ain't tell nobody else knew.
And Tamaya didn't even tell me.
So throughout the whole week, I was doing clues. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, go to the room, find this clue, then tomorrow you'll find another clue. So at the last day that I actually proposed, you know, her her cousin, her nephew's girlfriend came and did her nails. And I'm like, I was nervous. I was like, man,
they don't understand. Hey, they don't understand that pressure, how nervous you get.
And she kept asking me, why you keep coming in here? Why you keep coming in here? And I was like, I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling, you know. So then the family came over. Everybody came over. My mama, my brother. We started getting down on spades. Bam, bam, bam. We playing spades. And she was like, where's my last clue, babe? Where's my last clue? I'm getting my clues today, right? Let's talk about it. Blah, blah, blah. I said, all right, babe, your last clue is hidden here and here and here. She went and found it. So it was a poem. Don't tell me to recite the poem because I don't remember it. But within the poem, it was 2 different color inks. So the poem was in blue. The poem was in black, but the words were in red. So within the words that she was reading, she was just reading. And then her sister was like, wait, what is this red? Why are only certain words in red and certain letters? She was like, I don't know. Shoot. So they're like, man, turn the lights on. She turned the light on and she was like, will you... and everybody was like, are you going to say yes or no? And her dad was like, she say yes.
He answered for
yeah. It was a funny situation with how that happened.
Good stuff. Well, we about to wrap this up, man. I want to thank y'all for joining us.
Yeah, we had fun with y'all. I'm telling you, I told y'all we gonna have some fun.
The time went by very fast. We definitely gotta do this again,
but
man.
next time we gotta get y'all here. I'm
in
telling
person,
you,
absolutely.
Get some drinks.
Oh yeah, I'm coming with a bottle of cognac.
Oh man,
that's when all the story gonna come out. Then that's what I'm telling you.
For real. All right, y'all. And everybody out there listening, if you have any stories you want to tell us, leave an email at the thomasgang2020@gmail.com. Again, the thomasgang2020@gmail.com. Again, check us out on YouTube. Follow us on IG. What else? Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all the listening platforms. Check out, follow us there. This was episode 35, and we are out.